Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to, as this says, the 93rd meeting of the Jacksonville Tourism Development Authority. So welcome everybody and those of you at home. And we have some business to take care of today. And the first order of business is to administer the oath of office to Mr. Jackson. Councilman Jackson, welcome.
Thank you.
And so if you'll just step right down there, the clerk, Ms. Marshburn, will administer your oath, make you legal.
Just remember, you're under oath, though.
I, Brian H. Jackson,
I, Brian H. Jackson,
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
as a director
as a director
of the Jacksonville Tourism Development Authority.
of the Jacksonville Tourism Development Authority.
So help me God.
So help me God. We made it through it, didn't we?
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
And now we'll have the adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All opposed, say aye. All opposed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we will now have the approval of the minutes from the May 25th meeting. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at them, and we'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. First item, number one, is the 23-24 spending plan modification.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan.
Well, I haven't introduced you yet, but go ahead, Anthony.
I'm going to have to relocate here. My microphone's not working.
Well, don't leave the building.
You're welcome to have someone else come up and do the presentation, sir. Would you rather, Teresa?
You'll do fine.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Hagan. And welcome, Mr. Jackson, to the team. I think you'll find that we do some great work here. So the first item before you here is the spending plan modification. Of course, we adopted that just a couple of months ago. It serves as primarily as our budget guidance for the year, and we tend to modify it every meeting because different needs come up along the way. One of the things that we would like you to consider is to appropriate $3,500 in promotions money to assist with the audio-visual equipment for the Montford Point ceremony. This is something that our media folks identified as a need, and we appreciate Lisa taking the leadership role on that. The AV technology last year was a challenge, to say the least, and so we feel that it's worth the money, and of course, we're supporting that event in a number of ways, so we would like to bring in some professional support to make sure that that goes the way that it should. One thing to note too is that since it's going to be broadcast live, across the internet, and we're also going to have folks from the national media here, we really want to put on our best face there. Second is, it's a little bit more fun. It's a band and stage rental for Veterans Tribute. We'd like to change the complexion of our Veterans Tribute event this year. Last year, it was a daytime event, and we felt like it competed a little bit too much with the powwow that was going on at the same time. So what we're planning to do is something a little bit different. We want to have a concert, a food truck rally, and the laser light show on the Friday evening before the before the powwow, really just to say thank you to our veterans and their families for their service. So the cool thing about this too is we've talked to Raquel Painter, who's the organizer of the powwow, and she actually intends to bring some of her drum circle folks and the dancers to the concert. And we'll have them up on stage as an intermission or an opening act, or however we choose to couch that to build awareness for that event the next day. And then last but certainly not least, kayak rental kiosks at $40,000. This is something that we've talked about in connection with our Blue Ways initiative. And really, the intent here is to provide affordable access to the water. Rental would be at 3 different locations, one being the Jacksonville Landing, the other being the Riverwalk Marina, and last but not least, the Northeast Creek Park. So at $40,000, that would get us 3 of these things right here. I jokingly refer to them as the kayak vending machine. But, you can see what the intent is. People don't have to bring it with them. They can come from out of town, pay a $10 per hour rate, grab one of these things, have fun on the water. So again, we're asking for these 3 modifications. If I can go backwards. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anthony, on the cover sheet, it says 45, so are we asking 45 or 40?
That is an error.
Okay, so it's 40. Okay, thank you.
It is 40.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for the presentation. Members, you've heard the presentation from Anthony, and you have the information in front of you. Any questions?
I have no questions.
No questions? The action needed is for the expanding plan to be modified, so I'll entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
Any objection? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Anthony. All right. Now we move on to the presentation items, and we have one for the Lejeune Memorial Gardens restrooms, something that we've been working on for quite a time. So fill us in, Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan. I'll wait for you to call me this time. So as you mentioned, this is what we're talking about here, restrooms at the Lejeune Memorial Gardens. We all know that this is essentially, I would call it the civic heart of our community. In fact, it's probably the destination that we promote the most in Jacksonville. We've just got a number of wonderful memorials there, and it's a great environment for people to come, enjoy our community, but also pay tribute to the folks who made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of our country. So you see here on the screen what the basic layout is of the Memorial Gardens. The tiny red box there on the left-hand side is the proposed visitor center / restroom. And once constructed, it would look like this. It's going to be a block building with a brick veneer. There are some add alternates in the bid that may allow it to have a full swooping roof line like you see there in the dashed lines between the 2 buildings there. But really, as you mentioned, this would be a very, very welcome asset to the gardens. We do events there multiple times a year with hundreds of people, and unfortunately, there are no restrooms. We end up having to bring in porta potties, which is not really a flattering solution for the community. And the great news here is that a number of folks, or a number of groups connected with Jacksonville have come to the table to provide funding to do this project. So you can see that from the General Assembly, there's been an allocation of $250,000. Our Montford Pointers are kicking in $90,000. Onslow County committed to $75,000. And then private donations. We don't see that with every project out there, but the private donations are coming in at $25,000. And as Fernando was telling me the other day, they continue to come in, and hopefully will do so until they bid the project. So the request before you is to fund the construction gap, which is estimated at $100,000. And the Capital Committee heard this item last week and has come up with a recommendation, which our friends here with the Vietnam Veterans Association appear to agree with. And that's that we would match the Onslow County contribution of up to $75,000. and then bid the project. And depending on what the bids actually come back as, we could then revisit as needed.
Thank you. What is the, can you give us an idea about the timeline of what, if this all flows smoothly, what the timeline would look like?
I would have to defer to Fernando on that one, but he is here to answer questions.
Good. Fernando, please.
Yeah, the architect wants to break ground in August, and he would like to have the entire Welcome Center completed by Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day, which is April of next year. That's the projected date. He said if we break ground in August, that he will be able to complete the project by April of next year.
Yes, sir, exactly. And again, as Anthony had mentioned, how important this facility will be to the gardens. With as many visitors as we get out there, we need to be more accommodating, and we want them to come visit our gardens. They've come from long distances. The first thing they do when they get out of the bus, where are the restrooms?
Particularly the elderly.
Yeah, exactly. So again, this is a project that's been going on for a long time. Now it's come to fruition, and we're there. So we appreciate everybody's help.
Thank you. That's a very ambitious timeline, and of course, with all construction projects, let's hope that we can stay on that. Anthony, what actions do we need here?
Sir, the recommended action would be to amend the spending plan to allocate, up to $75,000 in tourism-related money. That would come out of our unassigned balance. It's already allocated in the budget. It's just not assigned to an expenditure.
Okay. You've heard the presentation, you've heard the dollar amounts. Do I have any comment?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? Okay, so the motion is to put $75,000, and that's the amount that we will do at this particular time. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. You're going to get your exercise in there, Anthony.
My microphone's working now, so I don't have to go back and forth, which is wonderful.
Okay. Next item on the presentation list is the Old North State Baseball. Go.
Thank you, sir. You only have to hear from me one more time, and then we'll be all done for the afternoon. So a few weeks ago, we held an exhibition game at Jack Amyette between the surf and turf, the Brunswick Surf and Turf, and the Kinston Wingmen. And it was a great evening. We had about 1,200 folks come out. It was overcast, a little drizzly, but, you know, our parks folks did an amazing job to get the field in playing condition. Just the night before, it had rained like a half inch or an inch, and, you know, they had to get the field all dried out for the game to be played, but they did. There were lots of people there. Everyone had fun. The mayor threw a pretty wicked sinker out for the first pitch.
Was that what did you say, a stinker, a sinker, what? You said sinker.
I did say sinker, sir,
Oh,
for the
sinker,
record.
okay, I don't hear
For
too
the
well,
record. But, you know, again, it was just a great event, and it truly shows the interest from our community in having baseball. The Osprey will actually release their logo tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. And shortly thereafter, the team owners tell us that there will be merchandise available. Lots of people have been asking.
Well, I can't tell you how excited I am. I did miss the event, and I apologize for that, but this is a long time coming. We've been trying to get a baseball team to Jacksonville for a number of years, and this organization right here is going to play a large part in making this happen. And
Yes, sir. One thing that you may not know is that Alexis actually moonlights with the fire department. You can see it there on the screen.
I see that.
So,
Very good.
multitasking, other duties as assigned. And this is just a wonderful picture that Kevin Riopel took from the drone.
Oh, that's an amazing picture. We need to, Teresa, we need to do something with that picture. We are. Good. I knew you were going to say that. I understand that they're moving right along. They've hired a general manager and a coach.
Have a coach and a
Manager.
general manager, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
And they're looking for host families right now, people who will actually house the players when they're here to play the games. And, you know, all is well. They really
Fantastic.
had a great success this evening. The league owner was there, and he was very impressed with the number of people that came out.
Fantastic.
In fact, one of the team members from the Wingmen said that this is the most people they had ever played for.
Really? Wow. Well, we'll continue to do that. I'm sure this community is ready for this, and they'll support it. There's no question about that. Any comments from anybody? Okay. All right, moving along. Number 4, Montford Point Marine Association. Good afternoon.
As you know, the annual Montford Point Marine Ceremony is quickly approaching. We have 57 families confirmed to receive the bronze medal duplicate of the Congressional Gold Medal. We have 1 living Montford Point Marine attending, Staff Sergeant Alfonso Jones, and we are working on finalizing the recognition that he will be receiving from the family, or the city. This event is open to the public with a traditional audience of a couple hundred. We'll have an additional 300 to 400 attendees from the association and the families, many of whom are coming from out of town, and we'll be able to share a report on the estimated number of hotel stays at the September meeting. Lisa Miller with Media Services is coordinating with the association to host a media day where they will interview some of the families and attendees, as well as take a group photo. The Congressional Gold Medal ceremony will start at 8 a.m. on August 25th, followed by a rededication of the Montford Point Marine Chapel and a National Museum touring ceremony event. The city has been able to show hospitality through transportation services, a welcome package, and sponsoring a family gathering at the country club. We're excited and honored to be a part of this event, and we look forward to seeing the results.
Thank you. Alexis, stay there for just a minute. I'd like to introduce everybody to her if you haven't already met her. She's the newest member of our team, and we welcome you and look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Me as well. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have the committee reports now. Tourism-related committee report. We have the written reports, and we will also turn our attention to the screen. Is that correct? We have the promotions committee report. Again, number 5 is the written report. You'll can read that at your leisure. And the promotions, the hoteliers update. So what do we have there?
Well, we have the STR report for June from Smith Travel Research, which showed actually a very good June for Jacksonville. The Jacksonville market, the hoteliers finished at a 73.4% occupancy for the month, which was actually an increase of 5.9% year over year. So it was very nice growth in that area. And interestingly enough, Jacksonville had a 3.3% increase in the supply because we had the opening of My Place Hotel. So we had additional supply come online in the market. But we also had an increase in demand of 9.4%, which completely, more than offset and balanced out that supply. So within the other markets that we are comparing ourselves to, the only other market that had higher growth than us was Fayetteville. So it was a very nice STAR report for the market in June, and something that we should be proud of. And we're hoping that it looks like this may be an indicator for the remainder of the year.
Well, the only thing that I'll say is I went by, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and it was a Monday morning. Of course, that's after a Sunday. And I happened to go by about 5 of the motels on Western Boulevard, and the parking lots were full. This morning, I went out shopping to a couple of the local places, and they're still full. And this is a Friday morning. So it appears that people love Jacksonville and are coming, for whatever reasons, to this town, which is going to put money in the bank for us and enable us to do really good things going forward. So we're real excited about that. Thank you. All right, now we'll turn it over to our marketing and events people, and Susan is up there on the screen.
Teresa, are you going or me first?
You?
Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and just dive into our slides. One of our most exciting things, and this recently, since we saw you, is May 18 through the 20, we hosted 6 writers, some who freelance for national organizations, several were statewide. We had 2 writers from Our State magazine here, and you all know the power of Our State in North Carolina. And we focused the majority of our time on the International Food Trail, but we also took time to stop at the gardens. They got to meet Raquel Painter. They did get a tour of base, and they love Jacksonville. And a lot of people, especially after experiencing the food trail, they just had such, they said the food was great, but they couldn't believe the kind of people that we had behind the food trail. And they were so drawn to our personalities, like Mama Stridiron at West Indian Kitchen. You see them in the photo here. That's everybody raising a glass. No alcohol in this picture. They don't serve alcohol there. But they were really struck by the hospitality and warmth of our community. And I say, if you come here, you leave a little different just because of the experience you have here. So moving on to the next slide, we've also added, I wanted to make sure you all knew, we now have 27 destinations on our International Food Trail. That boost of content is really important on our website, not just to the food trail, but we're doing lots of content around our walking, hiking, biking, and paddling trails. We have new content written. We're going to be loading it here in the next couple of weeks about our amazing Blue Ways system that we've launched, and that's attracting some statewide attention. We've done 2 different dining stories, and we also have a wonderful little piece on sweet treats if you feel a little decadent or need a little pick-me-up. Why are we doing all this extra content? Now that we have this beautiful website, what we need to do is we need to prove to Google that we are who we say they are. One of the ways we do that is, our URL is Visit Jacksonville NC, and then we do content that supports that. If we keep content going and rolling out, they're like, oh, these people are really serious about being a legit, tourism website. They do want people to visit Jacksonville, North Carolina. So we'll be rolling out new content as we go through the rest of the year. And we've done a nice job using up some of the very end of the budget for the last fiscal year and getting that content done now that our site is more lovely. So next slide, we had an immediate placement after the International Food Trail with Cardinal and Pine about our International Food Trail. We also had Lejeune Memorial Gardens included in a Cardinal and Pine story that covered all kinds of different botanical gardens across the state. We were excited that they included that. And moving right along, we're working on, we're very excited about the Waffle Lady. I can't believe you didn't give this in your hotelier report, Mr. Davis. I'll go ahead and brag on this now. As you know, we have had some great PR traction with Regina Trichet. She does 72, sometimes more, waffle variations at the Hampton Inn in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Well, we kept this undercover. We were about to bust because we couldn't believe it. But Hilton, Hampton by Hilton, invited her to come to Los Angeles as their guest and shoot some videos with Paris Hilton. So far on the Hampton by Hilton Instagram reel, there's a few others in other places across their platforms, but I'm just going to focus on those. They have done 3 videos where Paris and Regina are going back and forth talking about the launch of their new strawberry waffle. I did some quick math today, and those 3 Instagram reels have had more than 1.5 million views. So yay for our rock star, Regina. She deserves to be called a rock star. I'm going to do that regardless of what the commercials say. And one fun thing, too, the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association today featured Regina Trichet in their Instagram and their social media platforms. So we were excited by that support from them. So that's my report. We're working hard on media for the Montford Point Marine Association event and already talking to some people about Veterans Tribute. So buckle up. We've got good things coming.
Thank you, Susan. Teresa?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I wanted to bring you up to speed on a couple of events since the last meeting where we all gathered. The first event was the Pacific Arts Festival that was held in June. Here's some photography from that event. These guys are doing the warrior dance. Notice I did pick a few pictures where you could see in the background the crowd in attendance here. They had 35 crafters, 17 food vendors who, a couple of them were really the lines you had to wait for 30 or 45 minutes, and a couple of them even ran out on Friday, but they were restocked and ready for Saturday. But they had 17 total food vendors and 11 educational booths. The food was delish, of course. They moved the event from, it's on Father's Day weekend, but in the past it's been Saturday, Sunday, and they moved it to Friday and Saturday. Weren't really sure what to expect by going on a Friday, but the attendance grew by 30%. And we talked to Jerry over at the fairgrounds, and he is a pretty good judge of crowds, and he said that that number is accurate. So they put 6,500 people through that two-day event. So they did a fabulous job. The next event was the Onslow Hispanic Latino Association did their summer Latin Fiesta. They were at the Jacksonville Commons Rec Center, and the place was packed. This is a picture of some of the dancers. They had dancing, they had all kinds of entertainment inside, and they had a really unique car show. The food vendors, you can see here, they ended up, they only had about 6 months, I think, that they planned this event, so they put it together rather quickly, but they did a phenomenal job. They had 40 vendors and 14 food trucks, and the food trucks could not keep up. This event was on a Saturday from 11 to 5, and we had folks from as far as Charlotte and Myrtle Beach. They did pick up some news coverage, which was nice, and the attendance they counted was at over 7,200 people in a 6-hour window. So, you know, what that tells us is we know that there is such an appetite, no pun intended, for these cultural experiences. People love it in today's society. So great job from them. The upcoming events, just want to keep these on your radar. We've got the Marine Corps Half Marathon coming up in September. The Veterans Tribute Weekend kicks off on November 3rd and runs through the 12th. And as a part of that, the powwow will be on Saturday and Sunday, the 4th and 5th. So we are wrapping up our spring-summer digital campaign, and we couldn't play the video, so I thought I would just kind of give you a quick little, I'll put my announcer voice on and show you just a quick little blurb, if you will, of what the commercial was like. We put together a 30-second video, and what we knew going into this campaign and what we had heard from travel predictions and trends were showing that people were concerned about the economy for this summer, and that they were considering less travel or shorter vacations or vacationing closer to home to save a little bit of money. So we tailored our message along those lines. This isn't all the video that we had in, but I'll just show you a snapshot. Here you can unplug, unwind, spend quality time, honor, explore, and so much more. For just the right destination for a much-needed vacation, look no further than Jacksonville, where you can escape the everyday and reset. Whether you sneak in a weekend or stay a while, Jacksonville is a place to take a break without breaking the bank. Make the short drive and enjoy a long weekend in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So the campaign itself, these stats are about not quite a week old, and it did really well, as last year's campaign did. So we targeted up to 4 hours away, so it was a drive market, and the campaign itself saw 566,000 impressions, which a gross impression is people, just the ad in front of eyeballs. That's the number of times it played. The Total clicks on the ad, that shows people are interested in the ad. With 16,000, 10,000 of them were unique, which means some people saw the ad more than once and clicked through a second time, which shows again that they're interested. We had 33,000 engagements, and the cool thing is we have those visitor guide downloads on our website that we're tracking. One thing Lexi can attest to is since we started this campaign, we have had between 5 and 6 visitor guide requests a week. We have never had visitor guide requests. For the hard copy, people want to have mailed to them. So it shows strong travel intent if somebody asks for a visitor's guide. So when you run a campaign and you do great social media, obviously the goal of both of them is getting exposure for our destination and driving them to our website where they can get more information. And hopefully that seals the deal for them. So we always look at the website traffic and what happens during that time. And our traffic is up over the same period last year, 232%. The engaged sessions, which means someone comes to the site and spends longer than 10 seconds. They're on 2 or more pages, or they are what's called a conversion. They're downloading a guide or requesting one. So we had an increase in that. 56% increase in the duration of time that they stay on the website. And you're always looking to improve the bounce rate. You want them to stay longer and give them the content that they're looking for. The most visited pages, if you're curious, on our website are Family Fun is the first page, Things to Do, Calendar and Events, and next is the International Food Trail. So there's a lot of interest in the International Food Trail. And that's a wrap.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, Teresa. Very good information, and we couldn't do what we do without you two ladies, in addition to other people. So we do appreciate what you do. We thank you for what you do, and it's very worthwhile what you do. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay. Any questions?
Gentlemen, if I could, I'd like to add just 2 things to the presentation. One is if you recall, the Pacific Arts Festival used to be at Onslow Pines Park. And a couple of years ago, we started working with the promoters or the directors of that event, and we convinced them to come into Jacksonville. Of course, we were helping them in turn with their social media presence and their advertising, a number of things to kind of drive up the interest in that event. And over the past couple of years, they've been very, very successful. They have no intent of leaving Jacksonville, and that's a really good thing. So the other piece is, if you look at the success that the OLA folks had with their Latin festival, you can see some of what they did reflected in what we're planning to do with our Veterans Tribute event. And that is, you have multiple things that people can do while they're at your event. So the food trucks, right? In their case, they had music, which we're planning to do as well. They had games, they had vendors, they had a car show. So I think when you have a lineup like that, it really drives an interest from folks, and they're going to come out and they're going to have a great time. Of course, it doesn't hurt that they had great weather too, but it just, one of the things that we're trying to remember and reflect in our events is that we don't want them to be one-dimensional. We want them to have pieces that can appeal to anyone.
Thank you, Anthony.
I have to, those results are just so measurable and impressive. And I think when you take that and look at the data that we received from the June information from Smith Travel Research, and think about the marketing and promotion efforts, the hospitality from our local businesses and hotels, which are a reflection of the community, and the overall experience. I mean, it's just remarkable and just shows what a favorable direction we're headed in, and the coordination between all of the people involved with this. And the one question I would have, Susan, since you had mentioned Google and the algorithms, is there anything in particular that hoteliers or local businesses could do to favorably influence that? Be it access on their own websites with URL links to, places of interest or things to do, and something that you could share on that note?
I can, and Teresa, you can chime in if I don't hit any of the key points. There's about a list of about 16 things that actually increases what they call your organic search. That means when you put something in the search bar and it shows up early in those results, that's called organic search. You're not paying for that result. You'll always get your paid ones, sometimes right at the very top, but these are the ones that come up otherwise, organic search. And it's a measure of a healthy website. So cross-linking, what you talked about, where if hoteliers want to link to visit jacksonvillenc.com, or if they want to link to like the International Food Trail website, or if they want to link to the Jacksonville Mall or other destinations that they know, their guests may be staying in, cross-linking back and forth is really important. And so we have links on our site that go off to every single hotel in Jacksonville. We also have links that go off to all the different destinations, to the airport, to all those kinds of places, to the different parks, to Lejeune Memorial Gardens. And then the city links back to us on their website. And so hopefully getting more hoteliers to link to visit Jacksonville NC, that will create what they're calling cross-linking. There's also like inside of your website, like Lexi did an incredible list of independent restaurants that are in our city. And then we also link from that story to the International Food Trail and then to that fun story on sweet treats that we have. That cross-linking inside of our website also boosts SEO. And then Teresa's team does a really good job of going into the back end. And our back end is not easy to manage with SEO, but they do it anyway. And they get the right words lined up, the right just putting some of the words in the right place. They may even change the structure of the sentence a little bit. If you use shorter sentences, your SEO goes up. And so they work on that just a little bit. Once we get the content up, they make sure that we have what's called alt text, alternative text on all our images. So our images tie to what we're talking about and to Jacksonville. And so all of those kinds of things help with the SEO. And as I'm talking about images, so if we have a story on festivals and we have, the Olaf Festival or the Pacific Arts Festival or Veterans Tribute, all of our links are going to those sites as well. And we hope they're linking back to us. And then we also have their name so that if somebody does a search on Pacific Arts Festival, you see those photos pop up in those searches. So they get an immediate look at what that event might be like. So I don't know if I fully answered your question, Chris, but those are a few things that make a big difference in your organic SEO. And SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what it means is, can Google find you?
Yeah, thank you, Susan. That was very clarifying and helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Mr. Hagan, if I could, I'd like
Yes, sir.
to add one more point onto the Promotions Committee report here. Our coworker, Stephanie Kutz, is not here to defend herself, so I'm going to show some of her work off, and hopefully we'll all appreciate it. But this is all done in combination with Susan as well. They're our dynamic duo on the social media front, and of course, that is where a lot of our outreach is occurring right now. Everybody's on social media, so. Here's just a little bit of what's been going on since our last meeting. That green line is good. You can see the Facebook reach increased 875%.
Wow.
That's also because we had that paid campaign running, and then as well, a lot of things coming into that. And Stephanie's stories have really bumped up our reach as well.
So you see the Instagram reach, 112% up. This is just over a short period of time. Facebook page visits. I mean, this is more growth than we've probably ever seen. And so the point is we're going to continue to put time and effort into our social media because, again, that's where we interact with the most people. So, again, good work by Stephanie and by Susan to collaborate on this, and we look forward to the future.
Thank you. That's very good information, and it's amazing how technology just changes everything. All right, let's go around the board here. I think that concludes all of the information and all of the things that we need to deal with right now. So let's have some comments or information from our directors. Chris, we'll start with you.
I'll just say, Alexis, very excited to have you with us, and it was a great presentation, and I feel like you're going to be such an asset to this team going forward, so really
Already.
glad to have you. Yes. And with the culture, I'm just so excited to see these cultural events. We're just such a diverse community, and I feel like it's just a very accurate reflection of the community. So that was fantastic to share.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you. Mr.
Well,
Hagan.
thank you for being here and being a new member. We appreciate your input, and we look forward to working with you.
You can't get rid of me.
We don't want to.
Little league football coach to now, right? That's how this works.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to join you. I look forward to the work that we can do. I always say I'm from Jacksonville, so I'm glad to be from Jacksonville and help make some decisions as well. You know, the different events we have going forward. As you said, we're a very diverse community. I've had the opportunity to attend several of those events. As you can see, I show up in some pictures I don't wish I show up in. But anyway, really enjoy it, and like I said, I look forward to the work.
Bob?
Just, I guess being a longtime Jacksonville person, I'm amazed at how much we are putting out. We've become a destination. I remember back when military towns were looked down upon, and maybe rightly so, but Jacksonville has done, and Onslow County has done a lot of good things, right things. We put in place some things, some events, some procedures, some marketing, promotion, the Veterans Memorial Gardens out here, and just so much going on. Now the Old North State bringing a Jacksonville Osprey baseball team here, just a lot of good things happening in Onslow County and Jacksonville, and it's really exciting that we have something we can toot our own horn about, and that's something we've not done a good job until the last few years. So thank you to everybody that's had a part in all of that. So let's continue. Let's continue to grow.
Well, thank you for those comments, and I think the best is yet to come. And, you know, there's a lot of people in this community that you can look at and point to as to where we are today in this community. And as somebody who came here a little over 50 years ago and can attest to all of the things that have taken place over that period of time, the most encouraging thing is where we're going to go, because we have opportunities here, and this board right here is going to be a large part of those opportunities, by the way. We need to understand that. And we're just now taking off. This is our 93rd meeting, but I can tell you that the most important meetings are yet to come. And as you fill up those hotels and motels for us, we'll figure out a way to spend the money. But you know what? we could not do this job without the people sitting over there, because you're the ones that really do the work. We just come up here and kind of rubber stamp and say, you know, gee, great job. No. This has been a collaborative effort from day one. It's grown, and we have more participation from the staff than we've ever had, and we can't survive without it. And Teresa and Susan slide and fit in and do such a great job with their input and their expertise. And I'm telling you, we appreciate that so much. But I am so excited, and I echo what Bob just said. It's the baseball, it's a lot of other things. But guess what? Two of the gentlemen sitting up here had a lot to do with that, because they're council people. And they're the ones that vote. And they're the ones that make these things happen. So hats off to you guys. Keep up the good work. And we're just going to do great things going forward, because there's so much that's out there. And this, to me, this is a perfect storm that's arriving in Jacksonville. And we're going to take advantage of it. We have to take advantage of it, because it doesn't come along very often. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now and entertain a motion to adjourn.
And if I can just add
Oh, yes.
one additional thing. I know we primarily focus on Jacksonville, particularly with the Smith Travel Research data, but when I say finish number one in occupancy for June, second only to Fayetteville, ironically enough, and this doesn't happen much, but the 73.4% occupancy was tied with Onslow County. So it's a tie with that first spot, you know, for the county and the city at large. So, you know, Salem and her team you can see the efforts in these results in a big way.
Well, you know, I'm going to put a postmark on that. I think I just referred to the fact that I've been here over 50 years. And for the first time, John, in those 50 years, we had the schools, the county, and the city all on board with a project. It's never happened before. And that's what I'm referring to with the perfect storm. We have the pieces in place. Let's put them in the right place and make things really happen. So I'm excited about it. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you so much for being here, everybody.